Hey everybody, today we're gonna wet form a sheath. Let's get on it. Tick, 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 boom. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. We are gonna go over how to take something like this, which is already a great sheath, and turn it into something like this, which is gonna hold your knife a lot better. All right guys, let's get cracking. How do we start? Well, first things first, you're gonna need your knife and you're gonna need a sheath that is compatible, obviously, with your knife. I also like to have a couple of different clamps and just an old dish towel, something like that, handkerchief, something like that will work just as long as it cushions where these will hit the leather. This right here, fix and wax. Doesn't have to be wax, guys. You can use pretty much any kind of oil-based product, waxy product that is going to protect the blade from the water. Obviously, we're going to be dealing with moisture. Moisture does what to blades? Anybody? 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 It rusts them. That's right. So we want to protect the blade. I'm not a big fan of just wrapping them in plastic. Don't think it does a whole lot anyways. Tape, to me, is a pain in the butt to get back off the blade in some cases, so I just coat it really good and thick in a nice hunk of wax like this. Let's get the party started by taking our sheath, putting it in the water. All right, our sheath is right over there getting soaked. In the meantime, instead of waiting around doing nothing, we're gonna take our wax, we're gonna coat our knife blade, and we're gonna coat most of the handle, because the sheath comes way up deep on these handles, as a bushcraft knife should. So let's just go ahead and start rubbing the wax on here. Now guys, be very, very careful. I don't know what knife you're using, but these knives come extremely sharp right out of the box. So always, always, always use caution when you're dealing, especially around the blade area. You also want to make sure that you get right in here where the scales meet the knife. Make sure that that's nice and coated up. Make sure you got some along the spine of the knife. Underneath here. Nice thick coating, because this is going to get extremely moist. And by extremely moist, I mean it's going to be sitting in a very wet sheath. Notice when I do this, I'm going against or following the blade out. Let me give you a real quick preference on stuff that I use on my blades. I always like to use natural stuff, and it's not because I'm some kind of tree hugging hippie or anything like that. It's because I use this knife, possibly, to process my food. I don't want petroleum products on my food. I want natural stuff. So a lot of the times what I'm using is something that is based out of plants that are non-poisonous, obviously, or beeswax, which is probably one of my favorites. As you can see, this is very loose and very pliable now. It's good to go. So I just pulled it out. I'm just going to dry it off a little bit here, get the excess moisture off of it. Going to take my very well waxed knife, carefully put it inside. Make sure it's seated exactly where you want it to be seated. It's all the way down there, whatever you want, because this is what it's going to be. And now we just start molding it and folding it with our fingers and finding the spots where the knife is, and might need to keep on drying because every single time I push on this I get more moisture out of it. Always make sure the spine of the knife is all the way placed up against there as well. And this is pretty much it, guys. So you're just going to sit here, and you know that right there is where the fold is, where the knife meets the blade, the scales. Since it's smaller down here than it is up at the top, that's going to provide the mechanical advantage you need to keep the knife inside the sheath once this dries. Alright, so here's where I go and put clamps on here because I've got things to do. I can't sit here and screw around with a wet sheath all day. I gotta cook food. I gotta relax. This is my dirt time. This is my fun time. So I'm gonna put some clamps on here, and I'm gonna go find a sunny spot and set it. So let's do that, and you can follow along. So if I were to just put this straight on here like this, you would get indentations, and you would get basically tooling marks from this hard plastic. Don't necessarily want that. That's why I put a little terry cloth towel on there like that. Covers the front and the back. I make sure the knife is exactly where I want it. And then I come up there and basically let the clamp do what the clamp's going to do. Which now pulls that leather nice and tight in there. So I'm going to do it one more time down here. Just for good measures, I just put that clamp on there, down there like that. One more important thing, up here at the top, I open the sheath up a little bit on each side, just like that. That way when you're putting your knife blade in, you're not going to cut leather. Right there. Just a nice, easier way of getting your blade in there. Got a bit of a sunny spot right here. I'm just going to stick it out here in the sun. Let that sun start working on it. This knife has been sitting out in the sun now for probably about a good 3 hours with the clamps on it or so, and it's still damp, it's still kind of pliable, but you can see that it has taken shape very nicely. So I'm going to take this home, be kind of ginger with it. I'm going to put it in my garage overnight. If it's still damp in the morning, I'll throw it in the driveway, let the sun bake on it for a little while, and it should easily be done by tomorrow. So here's the deal. This is the Camp King. I haven't sold one of these yet. If you're interested in buying one, you will get this sheath with it if you want it. So you get a already pre-molded, ready-to-go sheath. Where do you get it? Go to www.bombproofbushcraft.com. That's bombproofbushcraft.com, and look for the Camp King knife. And just let me know if this is the one you want. So I just want to take a real quick second, show you exactly what I'm doing here. This is the Snowproof that I was talking about. It's an all-weather protectant. I got it from Tandy. Had it for a long time. It's what I put on most of my leather stuff. So here's the sheath. As you can see, it is just like a congealed stuff. Just take a good amount of it, like right there. I dollop on your finger, and we're just gonna put it around a sheath. You don't have to be neat about it at all. Now rub it in. You want to make sure you get it on the stitches. You want to make sure that you get these edges right here. All the stitches, all the edges. On the back side, see right here on these where the leather meets the leather, and you want to get up underneath inside the belt loop. And just rub it in. Massage it in, get it in there. As this is going to penetrate down into the leather. And make sure that water doesn't get onto the leather, because if the water gets on the leather, then basically what happens is it will become a pliable mess again, and all this work that you put into it will be for nothing, and you'll have to go ahead and pretty much re-wet form your sheath. So I'm going to go back to yesterday now and say goodbye. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you being here today. We went over how to wet form a knife. Very simple process, but it is awesome when it's finally done, because your sheath will hold your knife way better, and it actually gives it some character. So, you know, all things being equal, it's a very useful thing. I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here, guys. I got some food cooking. I don't know if you can see the smoke. It's hot dogs, but man, I love hot dogs. So do me a favor, guys. Before I get out of here, go check me out. Instagram. It's Bombproof_Bushcraft. Bombproof_Bushcraft. You can find me on Facebook. Look under Bombproof Bushcraft. And most importantly, guys, go check me out on my website, which is www.bombproofbushcraft.com, where you can find a lot of the cool stuff that you see me use right here on this channel. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. And until next time, get out of the inside and into the outside. Take care. Cletus, you're using it wrong. Using it wrong. It goes the other way. Oh, the other way. Okay. No, I mean flip it over. Huh? Oh, no way. Somebody might put something in it.